We're back again for another story. Today's story is Lost and Found by Oliver Jeffers. I like this book and I'm hoping you can see why in a moment. What do you think this book is going to be about? Give you clues in the title, Lost and Found. Let's have a little see. Get yourself comfy and we will have a read. So Lost and Found. One day there was a boy, and one day he found a penguin on his door. I'll budge you that way so you can see the book a little better. The boy didn't know where it had come from, but it began to follow him everywhere. The penguin looked sad, and the boy thought he must be lost. So the boy decided to help the penguin find its way home. He checked in the Lost and Found office, but no one was missing a penguin. He asked some birds if they knew where the penguin came from, but they ignored him. Some birds are like that. The boy asked his duck, but the duck floated away. He didn't know. That night, the boy couldn't sleep for disappointment. He wanted to help the penguin, but didn't know how. Poor love. How would you help the penguin? Have a little think. Who could you ask? Would you have asked in the same place as him? I think I might have asked an adult if I was a young person that found a penguin. Let's have a read, see what he did. The next morning he discovered that penguins come from the South Pole. But how did he get there? He ran down to the harbour and asked a big ship to take them to the South Pole. But his voice was too small to be heard over the ship's horn. Ooh. So together he and the penguin would row to the South Pole. The boy took his rowboat out of the cupboard and they tested it for size and strength. They packed everything they would need and together they pushed the rowboat out to sea. They said they packed everything they would need. If you were going on an explore, what would you take with you? I think I'd take some food. Might take some to keep warm. I'd take some drinks. Maybe something that I could have fun with, like a ball to play with or a book to read. Let's see if we find out what they took. They rowed south for days and nights with the boy telling stories all the way. The penguin listened to everything that the boy said. They floated through good weather and bad. When the waves were as big as mountains. Oh my goodness. How do you think they would feel when the waves are big like mountains like this? I think they'd be frightened or scared. Let's carry on reading. Oops. Until they came to the South Pole. The boy was delighted, but the penguin said nothing. Suddenly it looked sad again as the boy helped it out of the boat. Welcome to the South Pole. Why do you think the penguin's sad? Maybe we'll find out in a moment. The boy said goodbye and floated away. But as he looked back, the penguin looked sadder than ever. Have a think, why might the penguin look sad? Let's have a read on. It felt strange to be on his own, and the more he thought, the more he realised he was making a big mistake. The penguin wasn't lost, he was just lonely. Quickly, he turned the boat around and headed back to the South Pole as fast as he could. At last, he reached the pole again. But where was the penguin? The boy searched and searched, but he was nowhere to be found. Now, there's a bit of a clue. What do you think the penguin's done? Give you a hint, it's on the blue page. What do you think the penguin's done? Why can't the boy find him? Have a read on, see if we can find out. Sadly, the boy set off home. There was no point telling stories because there was no one to listen except the wind and the waves. But then the boy saw something in the water ahead of him. Closer and closer he got until he could see. The penguin! Aww. So the penguin had gone in his umbrella and made his own boat. Because he's only small, he could float in it. And so the boy and his friend went home together, talking of wonderful things all the way. The end. I really hope you enjoyed Lost and Found today, children. It's one of my favourites. Why do you think it's one of my favourites? That's right, because at the end they found each other and they've helped each other. And that's what we're all about. Maybe you could tell us a story using your toys of Lost and Found and get them to play out the boy and the penguin. You could use your own characters. It's up to you. I'd love to hear your stories. I'll see you tomorrow, year one. Bye.